What is up? Remels here, and today we're going to talk storytelling, the story. So let's talk story. Famous French filmmaker Jean-Luc once said, "Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but not always in that order." So let's rewind a little bit. Now we're still What is up? Remels here, and today we're going to talk storytelling. The story. This is a phrase that I feel like is being kind of overused by YouTubers and filmmakers alike. And honestly, I'm in the same boat here. I find myself constantly saying, it doesn't matter what gear you have, you just have to focus on telling the right story. I feel like it's so easy to forget about these things when we're doing stuff like weddings or real estate videos or even some corporate videos. We kind of just get lost and start filming pretty B-roll or just start documenting everything. And honestly, it wastes a lot of time on set and a lot of time in post trying to figure everything out. When in reality, if you just had some story concepts and some intent behind what you're shooting, you could have fixed a lot of that and it would have been a lot easier to shoot and a lot smoother in post. And while I could talk about this for hundreds and hundreds of videos, for this video, I want to focus in on plot and event chronology.
If you gon' miss heaven, why do it by 2 inches? On money and new bitch and other real new wishes. It is what it is, no point trying to overthink it. You wanna know the difference, you wanna know the difference. We both looked in the abyss, but your eyes were blinking. I'm Titanic slump, on God, I'm sinking. What was I thinking?
So let's talk plot. The plot is literally the sequence of events in the order that it appears to the audience. This is not necessarily the chronological order in which these events take place. French filmmaker Jean-Luc once said, "A story always has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but not always in that order." So let's rewind a little bit and just talk about basic story structure. When you think about most of the movies you've seen or books that you've read or TV shows that you've watched, they kind of follow a similar pattern, and that is they have an introduction, a rising action, a climax, a falling action, and a resolution. And now, I'm not necessarily saying you have to follow this completely or totally, but I think it's helpful to at least be aware of it. And what I think is most important and helpful here is just identifying your climax. Everything is either heading towards the climax or away from the climax. So if you can at least pinpoint what the climax of your story is, then it'll help dictate what types of shots you want to get. For example, in a wedding video, the climax would be the I do's and the big kiss. You could do it the Godard way, and you could start at the climax. You could start with the big kiss and get everyone hooked immediately and then rewind back to the beginning. Or maybe you want to tell 2 separate stories simultaneously. You could start with just the groom getting ready by himself, and then just the bride getting ready by herself, and you could intercut these 2 stories, and that could lead to the big moment where they see each other for the first time, and that could be your climax. So really the goal here is to just figure out some of these things ahead of time and keep them in the back of your mind while you're filming. And finally, I want to talk about more than just overall narrative structure. To me, every single element in your video can tell a story. Your music has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Your sound design ebbs and flows and pulls the audience in the direction you want them, giving them a sensory experience. And your B-roll should tell its own story. It can have its own beginning, middle, and end, or be a contrary view to the story you're telling. You can kind of play around with this. I feel like oftentimes we kind of use B-roll as an excuse to kind of hide edits or to take us from one scene to the next, and we don't really think about what we're showing to the audience. If every single second of the video, you're taking the audience on a journey, showing them exactly what you want them to see, when you want them to see it, then wouldn't it all be A-roll?